Now, all that we talked about points into the direction of the real roots of the fear of intimacy, which are inside of ourselves. We need to understand that although we are looking for the answers or for that reason to blame, often in the people around us that may not be right for us, that may not be trustworthy, that may not be the ones that can understand us, ultimately, it is really not the relationship with them that creates that fear of intimacy. It is the relationship with ourselves. And so I want to suggest to you 4 agreements that you can make with yourself to start on this healing journey to overcome and address your fear of intimacy and your fear of commitment. And the first one is to take ownership, to really take responsibility for your emotions and realize that those are the ones that you create. They have a reason to be there. They are telling you something, and you want to address them before you enter into a relationship, or you want to address them before you're trying to make the person you're with any different, because that ownership gives you also a sense of empowerment. The truth is, nobody can really fulfill those basic needs of love and safety completely. Nobody is supposed to fill that void inside of us. We need to learn to fill this ourselves, because the pressure we are putting onto a relationship where we go into that sense of, you need to make me feel safe, you need to make me feel loved, that pressure is usually something that breaks any kind of relationship apart. Now, the second agreement with yourself is that you need to become your own source of safety. What does that mean? Well, how often do you treat yourself with unkindness and disrespect? How often do you blame yourself, put yourself down, tell yourself you're not good enough, you're not lovable, and therefore ultimately you take on the roles of the people that hurt you in the first place? A client of mine told me that his self-talk is terrible, and whenever he feels insecure, he just beats himself up even more. He doesn't like the insecurity. Why is it there again? He doesn't like when he's anxious. He doesn't like when he feels small. And he always tells himself there is something wrong with him. Others are better. Others are stronger. And so in the end, he becomes his own bully. Well, it happened that he was bullied very much when he was a child. And that's where his insecurity came from. And so by taking on that role of that villain, that threat himself, he just reinforces those insecurity, anxiety patterns that then created also a problem in relationships. So be kinder to yourself. Be more respectful to yourself. Watch when you go into patterns that are ultimately not deemed to be safe. You know, some people are, when they are going out because they feel lonely, you know, looking for the one-night stands and drink too much or take drugs and do unsafe behavior, because that may go then into, well, this way I override my insecurity or my fears and I can get some attention and some love. But the next morning, that part of you that is really concerned about your safety is in shock and ultimately doesn't trust you any longer because you have made bad decisions. Same thing if you're looking always for the wrong people for the right reasons, but ultimately end up being hurt because you tell yourself, oh, there is so much attraction or chemistry, even though a part of you warns you, this person isn't right. This person is probably having, 3 or 4 others on the side. Don't let yourself get into this relationship. And you just override it. Well, again, you are not acting safe, and that part of you, that subconscious inner protector, will try next time even more to hold you back from connecting to others because it doesn't deem you to be trustworthy. So it creates more anxiety, more worry, more insecurity until you just don't want to go out anymore. So be the safe person for yourself and learn to trust and learn to know that you can, no matter what happens, deal with the situations that come your way. You don't have to have other people give you a assurance that, or an insurance that they will never hurt you or they will never harm you. Now, the third agreement is be your own source of love. And what that basically means is that you wanted to learn to give yourself what you have been missing when you grew up. Now, I know self-love, for some it sounds trite, and for some it sounds completely undoable, but it's something we can all learn, and we can certainly practice on a daily basis. Again, this can start with how you talk to yourself, whether you look in the mirror and turn your head aside, or whether you look in the mirror and smile at yourself, makes a big difference. When you do something nice, whether you are appreciating and giving yourself a little pat on the back, or whether you're just taking it for granted, it makes a difference. When someone gives you a compliment, not just deflecting it, but letting it in. When someone really cares about you, a friend, a family member, not just pushing those people aside because they don't fit into this concept of that you're not lovable and that you're not good enough, but really letting their energy in and absorbing it and feeling, yeah, this is actually true. There is a lot of love and adoration for me because this is really who I am. These people are not delusioned or drunk or blind. They see me probably more clearly than I was able to see myself. So treat yourself more as the one who is able to nourish yourself with what you have. This is the love omelette that I often talk about, where people get into relationships and they enjoy that someone gives them that love in form of nourishment, like an omelette on a daily basis. Well, at some point, it feels like, well, I cannot really cook for myself anymore. I cannot really give myself love and nourishment, so I need this other person. And then the fear of starving, the fear of survival comes in when you are dependent on that, what the other people give you, versus being in a place where, anytime I know I can fill myself up with love and appreciation, everything I have inside is already enough. And this way you feel that you're not in a place of that need and dependency. And that leads to that fourth agreement. When you no longer need security, when you no longer need love, you actually have something to give. Because then it's all about sharing what you have, sharing who you are, showing all of you and showing up with all of you in a relationship, rather than feeling like, well, I am the one who either has a wall that needs to be pierced through by the other person, or I'm the one who has a big hole, a void in my heart that needs to be filled by the other person. Again, then you are the one who is in need, who is a receiver, and you automatically make that other person the one that needs to fulfill that need, that needs to give you something, which is an inequality in a relationship, and certainly not a very healthy foundation. So see yourself as the one that goes into a relationship with a desire to share, to connect, to walk on that path of yours and have that path go parallel with someone else and share a part of your journey, how long ever it may take. And be open then to have that person have the same experience with you, that this person also is showing up authentic with all its beautiful, precious, fragile parts, and so that you're creating together this equal, harmonious, eye-to-eye, heart-to-heart relationship. Now, all of those agreements are not really that hard to follow through with. It's just a matter of sometimes directing your mind that you need to first look inside before you're searching for something on the outside. It is simply nourishing yourself and treating yourself the way you always would have wanted to be treated when you were younger and you were missing out. And as we all need to eventually address the issues in our childhood that haven't been resolved, the confusions of ourselves that started early on, this may be the best time for you to see the fear of intimacy as an invitation to clean up your past, to rectify how you see yourself, and to be able to open up your heart again to life and love from a place of feeling at peace and feeling whole, rather than from a place of feeling still confused and broken. When we come back, we will do a little meditation that may help you to connect more deeply to those subconscious parts of you, that subconscious root cause of your fear of intimacy, and begin to create that healing on a deeper level. So stay tuned. We will be right back.